unbeknownst to anyone in that room, Mike McDaniel was just 20 minutes removed when he said that from wiping tears from his eyes and causing all of us in the room to get choked up also. And let me tell you how that came about. That I asked Mike McDaniel in the meeting, what did he see in Tua that perhaps no one else saw, or the previous people who led us all in the media to think that Tua didn't have it anymore, that he saw something different. And he went on a soliloquy to talk about how he watched all the film about Tua, and he saw somebody throw 20 different out routes against significant coverage on film. And these are the types of throws that he said make your heart go like this, and he pounded his chest. And he saw somebody that kept on throwing accurate footballs into windows that few players can. And he said that was one of the things that sold him on Tua, that he was an accurate thrower of the football. He was someone that could put the ball in certain windows. And he was somebody who also had absolutely zero fear in doing it. And also had a situation that he was overcoming where a lot of people said that he couldn't. And how his own mother, Mike McDaniel, in his upbringing, kept telling him how special he was, and how a parent telling a child how special he or she is something that is beyond powerful. And the belief that somebody has in them, placed in them by somebody who throws their arms around them, is a power that he knows as a coach he can deliver to every single one of his players, and felt that way about Tua from jump, and said that Tua needed that, and that Tua has thrived amongst the love that he is the rest of he's feeling from his teammates, and also that he had a certain belief in Tua that was unshakable. And I even wrote down what he said, that he had an unshakable faith in Tua, and throwing, love in his direction is something that an only child with no siblings can relate to. And he was referring to himself as that. At which point, Stacey Dales, who was in the room, who's one of our sideline reporters, said, "Come on, coach, you're going to make me cry in here." And McDaniel talked about how his love for Tua and how it's an important part of coaching. As he said that many coaches feel entitled to the power that they have, and instead don't relate to the part about coaching, about bringing the most out of all players in the locker room in the small window of time that they have in their careers. And he takes it very personally that it's his job to bring it out of his players. And we were all just looking at him. And as we were driving back, Stacey Dales is like, in all my years as a professional in the WNBA and most of every years in college, I never had a coach who talked about players or loving coaching players like that. And I would have ran through a wall for him. And he talked as well about how he sent Tyreek Hill into the offseason with ideas on how to become better, fundamentals, and the fundamentals to become better. I asked him what he meant by that. And he said he's talked to Tyreek Hill about how he's the fastest player on the field and how everyone really has to adjust to him because of his speed, and to make sure that his routes needed to be run with certain precision, and certain concepts defensively that are being played against him, he needs to expect with certain precision, so Tua can be ready for Tyreek, and vice versa. And I just sat there and thought to myself that a man who's so self-aware of his own upbringing, he said he'd been dreaming of the job of being a coach in the league since he was 4, that somebody who has such self-awareness about himself is creating an atmosphere within that Miami Dolphins locker room and offense about self-awareness of everyone else around in a system that's very intricate, from scheme to motions to timing. And it's all working in many ways because of the atmosphere this guy is creating, which is, I think, the issue many people had with Mike McDaniel. It wasn't just, can he scheme? Of course he can scheme. Is he smart? Yes, he's smart. But how will he coach men in the NFL in a professional locker room environment? And he's killing it. He's killing it from this point of view, including working 20-hour Tuesdays to install everything. So every player walking in, as we learned from some of the players here this week, every player walks in on Wednesday and not only knows the game plan, but his specific responsibility on game day. So all they have to do is execute it. It's been done by McDaniel and his staff all day Tuesday. I just sat there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just sat to myself. I'm like, this dude's got it, and they are ready to roll, for a long time. And, the rest of the AFC East best bring their P's and Q's when they play them. And I know the Buffalo Bills did. I'm not saying he's invincible, but he's got this thing, in a great direction and all bottled up and uncorked. And he's also a funny dude. Like, he's keeping things light in this locker room, and just having this curtain peeled back for me today with him was really mind-blowing. And, Orlovsky and Jason McCourty were like, that's one of the best production meetings they've ever been in with a head coach. And I just wanted to, bring that to you guys. It really, and wow. One last thing, when we asked McDaniel about why he came to Miami a week and, why he came to Germany with Miami all week and didn't just show up at the end, he said that in ultimate success, you need to run your system remotely, because in ultimate success, that's what you're going to do Super Bowl week. So if your goal is to make the Super Bowl, you don't want your first reps running your system remotely to be the Super Bowl week. You might as well simulate it in a week like this. And we all looked around. We're like, okay, that kind of makes sense, and you can have pretzel bread at the same time. It's pretty cool. Like, the whole thing was awesome. Soup to nuts, just hanging amazing with him today. Wow.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.